In the headlines, PDP Advisory Council shortlist Wike as running mate. INEC pledges credible governorship election in Ekiti State. NCDC records 36 cases of monkeypox in 15 states. Away from Nigeria, Moscow urges Severodonetsk surrender as battle for control of key eastern city rages. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ile. Thank you for joining. And now the details. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has emerged as the People's Democratic Party PDP vice presidential candidate. He was elected in a mock election held at the national headquarters of the party in Abuja, where he was chosen ahead of the Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa and his Akwa Ibom counterpart Udom Emmanuel. The Advisory Council, which conducted the election, was constituted to review the report of the General Aliyu Gusau's committee. The Gusau committee had recommended the Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, and Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel for consideration. It was gathered that the Advisory Council, which was inaugurated by the party's national chairman, Iyorchia Ayu, on Tuesday, swung into action immediately and produced Wike as running mate. A member of the National Working Committee said 19 of the 20-member committee attended the inaugural meeting, while 16 of the 19 voted for Wike. Meanwhile, the deadline for presidential candidates to choose their running mate has generated heated discourse in the polity. Wading into the debate, Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State says that the choice of who they will run with should rest with those that have emerged presidential flag bearers of their parties. Governor Uzodinma spoke on Tuesday with newsmen at State House, Abuja, explaining that the choice of a running mate will take into considerations all the indices that will promote fairness and unity of the country. Kende Amodu reports.
Presidential candidate of the APC is probably faced with the toughest decision among all the candidates that have emerged. Being a Muslim, his clinching the party ticket has thrown up speculations of whether he will choose a Muslim running mate. Observers have pointed out that to capture what they describe as the northern vote, he must choose a northern Muslim. For some, that idea is completely unacceptable. But Governor Uzodinma holds a contrary view.
There is nowhere in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria where religion is a factor or a characteristic as to who becomes the president or who becomes the running mate. But we are looking for a united Nigeria where governance will be the issue, where a president will be judged by his capacity to deliver.
And contrary to some speculations, he is quick to clarify that the people of the Southeast are looking beyond the disappointment of not producing the presidential candidate in the two biggest political parties. Rather, he says they are looking to get the buy-in of other regions to their cause, as no geopolitical zone can produce a president without the participation of other political zones.
We expected that now the power came back to the south, it will go to the southeast. But you see, it's not a decision that the geopolitical zone alone will do. No geopolitical zone can become a president without the participation of other geopolitical zones. So when you don't get the cooperation, you begin to find out why, and you work towards getting the cooperation next time.
The governor also outlines the factors that should be taken into consideration while choosing a running mate.
In that ballot paper, there is no room for delegates to vote for who will be a running mate. So that explains why it is not a decision for the public, for the people. It is a decision for the candidate. So the decision of who becomes your running mate, if I were the candidate, what will inform it is what will I do as an action that will enable me to get the kind of votes I'm looking for. Because the ultimate goal is to win the election.
With a deadline for the submission of names of presidential candidates and their running mates some days away, The main political parties are already in some last-minute consultations over the choice of their vice presidential candidates. Those names must be submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission by Friday. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has expressed displeasure over the outcome of some of the primaries that were conducted across the nation. Gbajabiamila said this on Tuesday at the resumption of plenary. The report.
Gbajabiamila, who said the outcome of the process shows complete disregard for the nation's democratic process, promised that the legislative arm will continue to fight for strengthening of democracy in the country. He called on members to set aside their feelings and concentrate on the various responsibilities each lawmaker has towards their constituents.
Honorable colleagues, it is rather unfortunate that the process went the way it went. I make bold to say here that the legislature has once again suffered losses. The loss really is not for members who lost. It's a loss to democracy, to the institution, and to the country. If it means anything, I know and I am aware that many of our members did not lose their primaries because they were rejected by their constituents. No, far from it. Many of our members lost because of the process which we foresaw in the House of Representatives.
The Speaker noted that the House will get back to work immediately to attend to bills that have overstayed as well as those still pending at committee levels.
We will also continue activities to ensure full implementation of the legislative agenda of the 9th House of Representatives. This includes consideration and passage of relevant legislation and other stakeholders' engagement and outreach efforts. Several legislative agenda bills have been in committee for longer than they should. Next week, I will invoke Order 18.3G to commit those bills to the Committee of the Whole or any other relevant committee of the House, unless provided with a compelling reason to do otherwise. We have a limited time left to live up to our commitments in our legislative agenda, and we must make the time count.
The Speaker promised to take advantage of the ongoing constitutional amendment process by the Committee on Constitution Review to look into critical areas for amendment, like the Gender Neutrality or Empowerment Bill, and come to a consensus. The House adjourned to Wednesday, June 15th, while a minute's silence was observed in honor of the late colleague Ekpayong Basi.
The Independent National Electoral Commission says it is ready to conduct a credible governorship election in Ekiti State. Speaking on Tuesday, Chairman of the INEC's Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, said the Commission will deploy the bimodal voter accreditation system for the June 18 election. Okoye said INEC Chairman Professor Mahamoud Yakubu was already in southwestern state. He said that stakeholders will sign the peace accord on Wednesday. And away from politics, troops of the 26th Task Force Brigade on Tuesday found one Mary Ngoshe, who, according to the Nigerian Army, is believed to be one of the kidnapped girls from Government Girls Secondary School, Chibok, in 2014. This is contained in a tweet posted to the Nigerian Army's verified Twitter page on Wednesday morning. Ngoshe, who was found with a child believed to be hers, was intercepted by the troops while on patrol around Ngoshe in Borno State. Relatives of the released train attack victims have called on government to redouble efforts to secure the release of the remaining 50 persons who are still in captivity. The relatives told Daily Trust TV that it has been traumatic living without their loved ones. The report.
Amina Jibril and her husband, Hassan Jibril, were among passengers that boarded the Abuja-Kaduna train that was attacked by terrorists. They spent more than 2 months in the hands of their abductors. Although her husband, Hassan Jibril, is yet to be released, the family is, however, happy to reunite with Amina while hoping that they will sooner than later share the same moment with her husband.
My mother is Amina. She was just released 2 days ago. I feel really happy to see her here, but we won't say we are fully happy because my dad is still there, and she that is released, she wouldn't feel happy because she knows that her husband is there. And we, the relatives, will also not feel so happy because our dad is there too. And not just our dad alone, there are other people there. So how can we be happy? Like, it's been said that even if we cannot share in religion or in tribe or in anything, at least we should share in humanity.
It's terrible, my brother. We can imagine the thinking, the suffering day and night, thinking about them. Since on the 20th of March till day before yesterday.
The family says it has been a traumatic experience living without Amina and her husband, Hassan. Sani Lawal, who is an elder brother to Hassan, called on government to facilitate the release of the remaining 50 people still in captivity.
Out of 61, now we've got 11. So we are not even having a quota of the victims. So we still need government to redouble effort to make the whole 50 remaining victims to as quickly as possible in the next couple of days to reunite with us.
The release of 11 victims left many families whose relatives are still with the abductors devastated as they continue to hope against hope that they will one day reunite with them.
Katsina City came under attack of terrorists early on Tuesday morning, in the course of which 8 people comprising women and children were abducted. About 10 terrorists heavily armed with dangerous weapons attacked residents of Shola quarters, a few meters away from the Federal Medical Center in Katsina metropolis. Abdullahi Yamadi completes the story.
The terrorists arrived Shola quarters around 1 a.m. and started breaking into several houses, bringing out their victims. Besides AK-47 rifles, the terrorists were also armed with diggers, shovels, and hammers, with which they broke down doors and windows. In this particular house, the terrorists fired several gunshots before gaining entry, after which they abducted a housewife and her child. The terrorists broke into my brother's house and abducted his wife and a child. We have a pathetic situation here, and it is indeed very unfortunate that everywhere is not safe. This woman informed Trust Television that the terrorists, who were masked, accessed the kidnapped woman's residence through her house.
I saw them with my naked eye, climbing the walls of my house, through which they gained access into Lukman's house. I couldn't believe what I saw. They threatened to beat me up if I shout or raise any alarm.
This is the second time residents of Shola quarters will be experiencing this bitter experience. They want the authorities to beef up security in their area, and they are living in fears and cannot predict when the terrorists will strike again. I narrowly escaped being kidnapped because they attempted going with me, but I fell down and one of them hit me with a gun and asked the rest of the terrorists to leave me alone, thinking that I was dying. This is really a worrisome situation. Observers say the infiltration of the terrorists into cities like Katsina is an indication that the security situation is spiraling out of control, and there is an urgent need to deal with it holistically. Abdullahi Ismail, Trust Television News, Katsina.
You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly. Nigeria set to host the world. Details and more after the break. Join us again. Welcome back. Here is a reminder of our top stories again. PDP Advisory Council shortlist Wike as running mate. INEC pledges credible governorship election in Ekiti State. Moving on, Nigeria Center for Disease Control has confirmed 36 cases of monkeypox in 15 states in the country. The NCDC disclosed this in its latest monkeypox situation report. According to the NCDC, monkeypox is a rare viral zoonotic infectious disease transmitted from animals to humans that occur sporadically, primarily in remote villages of Central and West Africa near tropical rainforest. The affected states are Lagos, Adamawa, Delta, River, Cross River, FCT, and Kano. Others include Bayelsa, Edo, Imo, Plateau, Nasarawa, Niger, Oyo, and Ondo State. The Catholic Diocese of Ondo has fixed Friday, June 17, 2020 for the mass burial of those who lost their lives in the terrorist attack on St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, Ondo State last week, Sunday. The Diocese Director of Social Communication, Reverend Father Augustine Iku, who confirmed the date of the mass burial, said it will take place at the church's new cemetery at Imure Road, Owo, while maintaining that the number of those killed is 40. Iku said that the injured victims are still receiving treatment at the Federal Medical Center and the St. Louis Catholic Hospital, both in Owo, and some other private hospitals in the state. Nigeria's government Tuesday inaugurated a planning committee for the hosting of the United Nations World Tourism Organization Global Conference on linking tourism, culture, and creative industries with a theme, Pathways to Recovery and Inclusive Development. The global event, which is scheduled to hold at the National Theatre Complex, Lagos, is expected to bring together key industry players to brainstorm on contemporary issues plaguing the sectors. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
Nigeria got the hosting right for the inaugural edition of the Global Conference during the 64th meeting of the UNWTO Commission for Africa in Cape Verde in 2021. The decision, according to Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed, was in recognition of the country's rising profile in tourism, culture, and the creative industries, not just in Africa, but around the world.
The Nigerian film industry, popularly known as Nollywood, has become a globally recognized brand and the third largest movie industry in the world, after Hollywood and Bollywood. Our music industry, just like its movie counterpart, has also taken the world by storm, while our fashion industry is so huge that it is bigger than the movie and the music industries combined.
Inaugurating the 24-member Conference Planning Committee, the minister says it will be assisted by 7 other committees to deliver a world-class event, as he enumerates some of the benefits derivable from the gathering.
showcase Nigeria's tourism, culture, and creative assets, project Nigeria's image as a safe and desirable destination for leisure and business, consolidate on our relationship with the WTO and its member states, highlight the restart of travel and tourism in a safe and seamless manner after the unprecedented impact of the COVID-19 pandemic.
He says prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, the tourism and the creative industries were fast-growing sectors with a value of over $1.47 trillion and $2.25 trillion respectively, but were greatly affected by the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic. Mohammed said the global conference will serve as a catalyst to recover the losses. The committee, chaired by the minister, has amongst others Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and Culture, representatives of the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Bankers Committee. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Gombe State, has arrested a 25-year-old man, Nuhu Umar, suspected to be selling adulterated lubricants. Umar, upon interrogation, confessed to be involved in retailing of unwholesome engine lubricant for over a year in Gombe metropolis. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
These 8 drums contain lubricants suspected to be adulterated. The products were impounded by the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Gombe State. The suspect, Nuhu Umar, confessed that he has been retailing adulterated lubricants from a Kano-based supplier named Habibu Ibrahim. I used to sell the lubricant. A jerrycan is 21,000 naira, while the genuine one is 25,000 naira. That is why we sell it. I know it is adulterated, but I sell it because it is cheap. I regretted my actions. It won't happen again.
The
Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, said the suspect will be charged to court.
It is adulterated, and the in charge demand that selling the engine oil compares that. He says he knows that it is adulterated, but he is not the one who used to adulterate it here in Gombe. That they used to adulterate it down there with either mechanical or physical means in Kano.
Meanwhile, the engine lubricant dealers, Gombe State chapter, has vowed to institute action against the suspected lubricant fraudster. We are not happy because it is against the principles of our organization. We have intelligence about such sharp practices. Thank Allah, the products were not manufactured here. It is not unusual to have adulterated engine lubricants in circulation across Nigeria. This is considering the fact that in the first quarter of 2022, the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, said millions of liters of adulterated petrol were imported to the country, a situation that caused nationwide fuel scarcity. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
A popular Kannywood actress, Hadiza Gabon, has denied knowing a 48-year-old civil servant, Bala Musa, who claimed she promised to marry him after spending 396,000 naira on her. The actress appeared before a Sharia court, Magajingari, Kaduna, on Tuesday, where she told the court that she does not know the man in question and had no relationship with him whatsoever. The report.
Bala Musa, a Facebook suitor of Kannywood actress Hadiza Gabon, told a court sitting in Kaduna last week that the actress promised to marry him and that they have been in a relationship, saying he has so far spent 396,000 naira on her. Counsel for Hadiza Gabon, Mubarak Sani, denied the allegations leveled against his client.
Actually, the matter came up today for mention of the case. At the last adjourned date, as we have been informed in court, that he has mentioned part of the claims, and he actually came back today to mention the case since she is in court today, because she was never aware of the case coming up prior to this date. So she came in and she had these allegations. After hearing the allegations, she actually gave her own response, which of course, according to her, she has never met him. She never knew what happened. He only met her on Facebook or whatever social media account is purported to have owned by her. So we don't know anything about that. We have no business with that. We have heard him, and we would allow the court to decide based on his allegations. That is all. Has she been granted bail? Yes, she has been granted bail. She has been granted bail. Okay. Yes, the court has granted her bail, and we are hoping to fulfill the bail conditions.
Counsel for the complaint, Murtala, said the supposed lover, who happened to be his client, met Hadiza Gabon on Facebook, and from there they became friends, and in the process she promised to marry him, and he started spending money on her.
My client was that the lady cheated him, and then because they met on Facebook, really, and then from there they became friends, and from there the lady promised to marry him, and he started spending money for her.
So she denied knowing him?
Yes, she denied knowing him, and then we informed the court that we are going to bring witnesses on that, and the money we sent to him through the account.
The judge, Kadi Malam Rilwanu Kewdi, adjourned the case to 28th of June and granted her bail with the condition to provide 2 reliable sureties who are residents of the state. Gabon was maneuvered out of the court to avoid being caught by the camera.
Nigeria has lost a $1.7 billion London court case against JP Morgan Chase and Co. for the bank's role in the transfer of millions of dollars to a former oil minister convicted for corruption. Nigeria had argued that the transactions put JP Morgan in breach of its Quincy Care duty, which obliges banks to disregard a customer's instructions if following those instructions might actually facilitate a fraud against that customer. But a London High Court judge said that no such breach took place in a ruling published on Tuesday. Nigeria contended in a 6-week trial that the U.S. investment bank acted carelessly when it transferred $875 million in payments from government accounts to Dan Etete, a former minister of petroleum who had been convicted of money laundering between 2011 and 2013. And that's a wrap on Trust News Update. You can watch more by connecting with us via all social media platforms and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching.